It's similar to a conventional aircraft in some ways. In some ways, it's similar to a conventional helicopter.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, it's completely different.
Completely different to both.
This is the most exciting time in aviation since the dawn of the jet era. eVTOL stands for Electric Vertical Takeoff and Landing. It's essentially an electric aircraft that can take off without a runway.
What we're about to see could change the future of mobility. And 10 years ago, I don't think we'd believe it was even possible.
It's like a helicopter, but many, many times more awesome. We're working with some of the world's leading aerospace engineering firms, so firms like Rolls-Royce, GKN, Leonardo, Honeywell. These are the world's leading aircraft suppliers and designers, and there's a huge amount of new and novel technology that's going into the X4 bomb.
So Sophie, this is one, a huge privilege for us to come and see this now, and two, what an amazing machine. It's just, when I walked in, my jaw dropped. It is an incredible thing. But can we go through the basics of it? So we're in the passenger bit. Is there a piloty bit there?
Yes, there is.
Right.
Yes.
And then it clearly does something different because of the way can you explain about the propellers? They're not pointing forwards, they're pointing up.
Yes. So we've got 8 propeller units. This enables the aircraft to take off vertically. So using all 8, spin them up, we'll take off vertically.
Right.
And then as we increase forward speed, the 4 at the front tilt forwards into the cruise configuration, and the 4 at the back stop and stow to reduce aircraft drag. And that enables us to have a long duration cruise flight.
A lot of the images and models and CG rendering I've seen of various electric aircraft, a lot of them don't have wings. This definitely has wings, but it looks like an aeroplane.
Yes.
To the uninitiated.
Yes, it definitely does. And so in the low speed regime of flight, all of the lift is produced by the rotors.
Right.
And then as we increase forward flight, your lifting surfaces, so the wings and the tail and the control surfaces on the tail, become effective, and you become entirely lift from the wing.
So the company started back in 2016. It actually came out of an idea that I had traveling to Sao Paulo. I was in Formula One at the time, and we were trying to find ways to commercialize the technology that we had. It was really too high spec for road cars, and we started to think through what different industries we could apply it to. And we had carbon fiber, lightweight composites, aerodynamics, computer simulation, electric and hybrid powertrains. And we thought, actually, could we apply F1 technology to air taxis?
Well, this is really normal for me. I'm just flying around in my eVTOL. I might fly to Farnborough to the Fully Charged live show. It's going to be amazing on the 29th and 30th of April and 1st of May. You can't miss it if you're in the UK. But here's another thing. There's going to be another show later on in May in Amsterdam, which is going to be stupendous. There's going to be quite a lot of boats there. Electric boats, nice. And then later on in the year, still in September, San Diego. You can see the list of everything, because then next year, there's going to be loads of shows just up here. Check it out, come along to a Fully Charged live near you.
And what's happened is that we've had a convalescence of a lot of technologies which have become good enough to enable this aircraft to happen.
Wow.
And one of the main ones is obviously the batteries. So the energy density that we're able to store within batteries over the past sort of 10 years has rapidly increased. Which allows us to have more energy in a lighter weight. So, and obviously with all aircraft, the mass is one of the most important things. So being able to reduce the weight of those batteries is one of the key things that's enabled this aircraft to become real. One of the areas of the kind of technology development that we focus on in-house is actually the battery technology. So all of our battery technology is proprietary. It's not bought off the shelf. And you know, the the battery chemists that are working on this are the ones that are really going to enable that.
But then when it comes to the actual motors that spin the propellers, I have no idea what they're like. But have you developed those? They're not bought in from somewhere else, or are they?
Part of our kind of design philosophy here at Vertical is that we endeavour to partner well.
Right.
So the powertrain for the certified vehicle will be developed in conjunction with Rolls-Royce. So
Right.
they'll be providing the motors and the other components of the powertrain to us.
Right. So they're not second-hand Leaf engines.
No.
Because, you know, I've seen a few of those lying around. I mean, that's the thing from the point of view of a pilot, because there's not really, is there an aircraft that's similar? The only one I've ever seen that's close is the big American military plane with the two big,
Yep.
you
So
know, they fly over my house quite regularly. So.
yeah, the V22
Yeah.
and the AW609 kind of, they're similar in a lot of ways, but obviously they have conventional combustion engines.
And huge propellers. I mean, they're sort
Yes.
of half a helicopter, aren't they? in a way?
Absolutely, yeah, and as well, the whole wing in the 609 tilts,
Right.
so the whole, whereas our wing is fixed.
Right.
Yeah, there isn't really anything else out there
Yeah.
that's like this aircraft.
Because so I mean, 100 miles range. That's way more. Because I've seen images that you've produced where you're talking about sort of central London to Heathrow, which is what, I don't know, what, 14, 18. I don't know what it is.
But in terms of time, the VX4 will be able to go from Heathrow to Canary Wharf,
Right.
central London, in about 12 minutes. We're also aiming, obviously, as well, this aircraft is designed for everybody, so the cost per mile should be similar to that of a taxi.
Right.
So it will
Wow.
actually be designed to be affordable.
That is
for-
very interesting. So, because I mean, yeah, presumably, I don't know what the difference is, but if this was all combustion engines powered,
Yep.
your fuel use is going to be expensive,
Yes.
particularly at the moment. It's gone up a lot.
Yeah, and also the aspects of actually maintaining an aircraft,
Right.
like a conventional aircraft, that's a lot of the expense of
Is
operating
on the-
it.
is on the
So,
engines, yeah.
Yeah, and so trying to keep our designs effective and easily maintainable.
Right.
So we have a simulator for our aircraft,
Right.
and we would love to come and show it you.
Oh.
Would you like to come and have a go?
What do you mean? Like I can have a go at flying?
Going to give you a flying lesson.
I'm quite nervous, and I can't break anything, can I?
No,
It's
I
all
can
right.
just press reset.
Oh,
It's
thank
fine.
you.
When we launch this aircraft, it'll be certified to the same safety standard as a Boeing or an Airbus long-range aircraft. It's a 1 in a billion accepted failure rate. So these will be amongst the safest aircraft that have ever been built.
Now that leg
Yes, this leg first around this side. That's it.
It's a very young person to do this.
Okay, Robert, you're clear to take off.
At 500 feet, we think that the sound is going to be about 45 decibels, and these aircraft will not only be much, much quieter, but because we have much smaller rotors, the sound profile is something that blends really well into an urban situation. So you're not going to really hear these things flying overhead.
But I'm starting to get the hang of them. I mean, if the actual controls of the real aircraft are like this, it is pretty simple to fly. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other things you've got to take into account. So you said that you'll have a flying aircraft this year, because I know a lot of our viewers are going to be very excited to see this in action. But when do you think the next step is, when it gets sort of test flights over a distance or whatever else?
Yes,
you do?
so our prototype for this aircraft will fly this year to get engineering knowledge, basically. So what works, what doesn't, what do we need to change? There'll be then another design loop for the aircraft to fix the things that need to be fixed. And we're aiming for certification in 2025.
Right.
So,
and certification means it can fly with people in it.
Yes, yes,
wow.
yes, we will be in service.
And I mean, do you see other roles for it?
One of the potential other roles for the aircraft is as a medevac aircraft. So you could have this kind of fitted out as basically like the back of an ambulance.
Right.
The other role as well is as we continue to improve battery technology and the energy density which we have available to us, the range of the aircraft will extend as well. The other thing that might happen as well as we develop the design is that the number of people that we can carry increases.
Right.
So at the moment we've only got 4, but we could do an 8-seat version or maybe more. Time will tell on that one.
But that is those other roles, because it's how, when I saw it, when I first walked in, I went, oh, it's huge. But then actually, if you think of it, I'm just wondering how big a space it can handle. Because if you actually think a helicopter's fuselage would be similar size, if not smaller, but it doesn't seem to have big wings. But of course, it's got a massive, great rotor, so that needs a lot of room to safely land. I mean, can you land in roughly the same area that a helicopter can?
Yes, pretty much. Right. And so you would need a circle that is slightly larger than the largest dimension. So for us, that's just over 15 meters.
Right. So there's a field quite near my house. I'm just saying, you need to do a test landing.
So actually, in future, one of maybe the most effective ways to deploy these aircraft would be to those kind of small rural aircrafts, and then you create a network of airports feeding into larger hubs.
Right.
So, for example, rather than you having to go either to the train station, catch a train all the way to Heathrow, you can go to the field near your house, and one of these can land there.
That would be
with fairly minimal infrastructure, and pick you up and take you to Heathrow if that's where you're going, or to central London, or to Bristol, or wherever.
No, that is thank you for that. I'll be dreaming of that from now on.
So the real benefit behind electric propulsion for aircraft is that we're finally starting to make an impact on a zero emission in operation flight. And I don't think there's ever been a time, apart from back in the very early days of unpowered flight, that we've been able to have zero emission flight. So we're starting small, it's 4 passengers, but it's exactly this technology that's going to make its way onto bigger and bigger planes and hopefully lay the groundwork for aviation to go carbon neutral.
So I think it's pretty obvious that is an amazing machine. This is an amazing future that is emerging incredibly quickly. I mean, 10 years ago, it would have been literally impossible to make this aircraft. I think this is so exciting, and we are so privileged. I want to make it really clear to all our wonderful fully charged viewers and supporters, no one else from any media outlet in the world has seen this plane. We are the first to see it, and it's an immense privilege. We're hugely grateful to Vertical Aerospace for this. This is a fantastic thing for us to come and see. We're really excited about seeing it actually going. No, I'm really looking forward to that. Might not make that noise. Other noises are available. So it's been wonderful to see it. Can't wait to see more. And of course, a lot of the people involved in this are going to be at Fully Charged Live. Just mentioning that right just before we go. Please do have a look at our Patreon link, because our Patreons, this is why we're so grateful for you to support us, so we can come and see things like this. It's fantastically important. Please do subscribe to Fully Charged, because that really helps. We just want to get those numbers up. It's just for us, doesn't cost you anything, easy to do, 1 click. That's all. As always, if you have been, thank you for watching.
Well, thank you very much for watching that episode. Robert's just offset having his daily rub down, so while he's doing that, allow me to ask you to watch this episode down here. It's very similar to the one you watched. This episode is our most recent. Here is a link to subscribe to the channel, and this is a link to our Patreon. Bye!